What's up, everybody? I'm Guy, and you're watching the JustBlueFish channel. Today I'm joined with AB from Watch Collecting Strategy, and we wanted to let you know about our podcast and live stream channel, Watch Talk Live. It's a channel that we've posted content to in the past, but we're going to be revamping it, and we want you to go over to that channel and subscribe so you don't miss content like this in the future. Of course, you can find a link down below in the description of this video. Now, what we usually do on that channel is talk about watches, and we play a bunch of fun games. That's what we're going to do here today in this video. And the first game that we're going to play is one called Fill in the Blank. I'm going to read a question to AB, and he's going to fill in the blank, and you'll see how it goes after we do the first one here. So, AB, number one, fill in the blank. The Royal Oak is blank.
Amazing. The Royal Oak is amazing. I know a lot of people prefer the Nautilus or the Overseas, but to me, out of the 3 or 4 most popular stainless steel models, I'm gonna have to go with the Royal Oak purely because it has the best bracelet. Also, guys, before you ask, the glasses, I have a busted eye, so I have to wear it. I'm not being a douchebag.
Well, that remains to be seen, but I agree with you. The Royal Oak it's an amazing watch. Amongst the contemporaries, in particular the Patek Nautilus, of the two, I prefer the Royal Oak, and everyone kind of talks about those two kind of in the same breath. While it is amazing, and I agree with that, I think it is also a little bit overhyped. I don't really know why it goes for so much money, why it's in such huge demand. It's a cool watch, don't get me wrong, but the fact that it's going for the amount of money that it's going for, it does just confound me a little bit.
Yes, I definitely agree. Especially 15202s, the jumbo is now trading for what, 70, 80,000. The Patek Nautilus is the one that went really crazy, trading at over $100,000. So I'd have to agree with you. So your fill in the blank is overrated.
I didn't say it, you said it.
Okay, let's move on with the next one.
All right, another type of game that we like to play on our live stream and podcast channel is called This or That. And I'm going to give AB a this or that question. This or that, AB, the Rolex Explorer or the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Tiffany dial?
Oyster Perpetual Tiffany dial, 100%. I love that watch. And I think it might just be kind of hyped right now, but there's just something about that blue watch that screams summer watch. You know, it's such a beautiful dial, and I don't think they're gonna have it for a very long time. I anticipate them having it for a year, maximum 2 more years, and when they discontinue it, mark my words, it's gonna get Daytona money.
I don't think it's going Daytona money. And if I had to pick this or that, the Explorer or the OP Tiffany dial, I'm going to go Explorer, and I think you knew that specifically, and I haven't seen it in person yet, but the 36 millimeter, the new Explorer, I think that is going to be a watch that will get added to my collection at some point in the future.
I think you would love the Explorer. Just knowing your personality, it's the perfect watch for you. I did hear that the watch is about 35.5 millimeters, not the true 36, but it does have a few differences now that I think you'd love it. It has now anti-reflective coating, I believe, from the underside of the crystal. And I don't know, when I think of you, I either think of the Submariner or the Rolex Explorer, even though technically you don't have an Explorer right now.
Well, I had one, I had the 39, and I had it for a while, and it just never jived with me. I think that the 36 is really going to solve a lot of my complaints that I had with the 39. Because overall, I still love that Explorer dial, and of course I love Rolex.
I think that's the perfect watch for you, for sure.
All right, let's go on to the next fill in the blank question. And let me just check my notes here. The luxury watch I would never buy is blank.
Hublot.
Really? Hublot, okay.
Hublot. Even though there is one Hublot I would personally buy, and it's just for sentimental reasons. It is the Hublot Dubai edition with the Arabic numerals. Given the fact that I'm from Egypt, that was actually one of the very first watches I've ever seen that showed me there's luxury watches beyond Rolex. I mean, everybody knows Rolex. I feel like you as soon as you enter this world, you know, the doctor says, "Hey, there's a specific brand you have to know, and that is Rolex and Porsche." So
Right.
when I saw that Hublot, that was the first thing I saw that's luxury. So I guess that's why I have like kind of a soft spot for that specific one. But every other Hublot, I'm gonna have to say that's the one luxury brand I would never buy.
All right. I I don't think I'm gonna put Hublot on my list there. They actually have a watch that I do kind of like. It's the classic Fusion, I think. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the
Mm-hmm.
exact model number, but it's like a 38.5 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
Would I buy it? I mean, because money's limited and you can't buy everything you want, the answer is probably no. Like, there's things I would want more, but
Mm-hmm.
I do like that Hublot. For me, the luxury watch that I would never buy. I mean, that's a really tough question. There's not many things in the watch world where it's like, oh, I can't stand that watch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe a Nautilus, and that seems like it's a little on the nose because of how expensive it is, but let's
Mm-hmm.
say it wasn't crazy expensive. I just don't really dig that watch. Between the Nautilus and the AP, like I said, I prefer the Royal Oak.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about the Nautilus that just it doesn't do it for me.
Um, so having handled the 5711 myself, the bracelet is pretty bad. First,
That's what
first
I've
and
heard. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
first and foremost, like the thing is, so obviously it's not bad as in Seiko 5 bad. Like I'm not crazy, but for Patek, and I love Patek as a brand. They just do a lot of things that really upset me, especially with the kind of power they have. But essentially, the Patek Nautilus, I have to agree with you. There's just something about it that would get me away from it. But assuming the question is, instead of the watch, what watch brand, if you are forced that you can never buy or will never buy from that brand, and you're forced to choose one, what would that brand be?
Hmm. I mean, so like nothing under the brand's umbrella at all. That's
Nothing.
wow. That's a tough one. I don't know. Maybe yeah, honestly, I mean it might just be Patek because I probably will never be able to afford anything, at least not new retail
Mm-hmm.
prices. I suppose there's some Pateks that are pre-owned that I could maybe afford at some point if I was saving up, but
Mm-hmm.
then again, I don't really like older
Mm-hmm.
pre-owned watches. So I guess I'll just go with Patek in general.
Mm-hmm.
Probably is a brand I'll never own, even though I respect it and
Mm-hmm.
I know it's high horology and it's one of the big three, the Holy Trinity, XYZ. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying they're bad, but probably not a brand that I'll ever get into.
That's a good answer, and especially affordable Patek, quote unquote affordable, like within the 20 and under. You're looking at 33 millimeter dress watches, stuff that I personally wouldn't purchase myself. Um, and the quality that you get from Patek, if you really want like decent Pateks, then you have to really get into the mid tier, quote unquote, Patek stuff. Their chronographs, their dual times and whatnot. So that's a good answer. I'm sticking with mine. I do like the classic Fusion. It does look good, but I'm sticking with mine. Hublot is the one brand I wouldn't buy.
All right, well, let's do one more fill in the blank question. And again, this will give you guys a taste of the type of content that you'll see over on the Watch Talk podcast and live stream channel. Again, link down below in the comments. Please subscribe to it. We're going to be putting out more content on a regular basis on that channel. And this question, AB, is Porsche 911 or Lange Datagraph?
You know, this question is
And to be
actually it's
maybe
hard.
we should be maybe we should be clear, like the actual car, like you could get a Porsche 911, the vehicle,
Hmm.
or a Lange Datagraph, right?
Yes. I think like a base 911, let's say 90 grand. Um so yeah, I would have to go with the Datograph. I just 911s actually hold their value pretty well, but I'm just going to have to go with the Datograph.
Well, are you a car guy though? Like,
I used to be way more of a car guy until I got into watches. Cars, I bought a lot of cars, especially I think for my age, I bought a little too much, to be honest. Um, I could have saved a lot of money, but I used to be a car guy, but when I got into watches, it took over 100%. So if you asked me this question 5, 6 years ago, I probably would have taken the Porsche 911 in a heartbeat. But right now, I would take that Datagraph and ride a bicycle all around town.
Could you imagine? You're going to pick up your girlfriend for a date, and you're like, sorry, you're gonna have to ride on the handlebars. I bought a.
Yeah, but I have a Datagraph, so you can look at that.
Well, I'll answer this one. For me, the Porsche 911 is probably what I would go with. And while I like the Datagraph a lot, it's an amazing watch.
Mhm.
I feel like the Porsche would just be more fun. I mean, I like sports cars. I've never had anything even remotely close to a watch. I've owned a couple of American muscle cars.
Mhm.
Trans Am, Firebird Trans Ams were always my thing. I've owned several of those over the years,
Mhm.
and it would be nice to get back into something a little bit sporty. So I'm gonna go Porsche 911.
Ah, okay, well that's good. I'll borrow your Porsche. You borrow my Datagraph. We're good.
There you go. Yeah, we can just do swapsies every once in a while.
Man.
All right, guys. Well, that was just a taste of some of the things that we like to talk about, some of the games that we play over on that Watch Talk podcast and live stream channel. And part of the fun is that as we're playing these games, anyone that's watching live can chime in and they can give their answers too. So we get a lot of great interaction with the viewers over there while we're playing these games. And of course, we talk about regular watch topics as well. Suppose new announcements for releases from a watch brand come out. We're going to discuss things like that and
Mhm.
pretty much everything watch related over there. Do you have any final words before we wrap this one up for today, my friend?
No, thank you guys for joining us. And also, I wanted to remind you that when we do the podcast, in case you missed the live, we will be hosting it on all the major platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, and so on. So make sure, in case you miss it, you're subscribed. So if you see an episode you missed, we're going to have it on all the major platforms. And as always, guys, thank you for joining us.
All right, that'll do it for today, guys. Thanks and bye now.
I'll see you guys.